What am I doing just watching the rain? With that being said, for the purposes of this video, I'm Toy Scourge. I'm at a loss, people. Completely at a loss. So what do you do when you're at a loss and you don't really know what to do or to even talk about? I don't know, I could talk about this guy Inferno who's been popping up in random places like Target and Books A Million in the last couple of weeks. But, you know, who wants to talk about a brand new figure? It's just a repaint. It's a red repaint. It's got little things here, add-ons. Who cares, right? Or I could talk about this Builder figure that I haven't actually completed yet because the leg itself cost about $17 and the head another $20. So I might as well go and actually find the figures that they're attached to and just spend the extra money rather than just get a head and a leg. Also, speaking of not being able to complete anything, anyone seen any Red Skull for the villain wave in Marvel Legends? Because that guy, can't find him anywhere. And I know that there's at least 3 boxes that have been delivered to like every Target in my local area. So who's buying up all the Red Skulls? Who needs so many Zemnu heads? Or on a more positive note, I don't know, I could talk about how just I got a random package from Hasbro Pulse. No email, no notification, nothing. And what I got was Snaptrap, aka Turtler. Yes, doesn't he look nice with the little flappy head and the little painted teeth? Yeah, he gets. And the headbutt. He's got a headbutt. Having got this in the mail actually really made my week from a really crappy 2 weeks. So, yeah, it did kind of actually help. So, thank you, Hasbro Pulse. So, aside from things that I can't actually seem to finish, I have also had some luck finishing the rest of the Zemnu figure, as demonstrated by the 2 that I have on display, Lady Deathstrike, which is an amazing figure. I might show you a little bit in a second. And the generic Hive leader, AIM Supreme Scientist. Why did I say Hive? That's DC. But on this side, my Avengers lot seem a little bit sparse. I'm really waiting for that modular Iron Man for the next wave and Ultron for that side of the shelf from the same wave. Don't know if I'm actually going to build a figure for Ursa Major, but anything could happen. Anything. I do really want to get that Tigra and the 90s Black Widow. I really think those 2 would fit in quite well with that team up that I've got going on there. Also that Nova, which I'm not really sure if it's a Walgreens exclusive. I think it is. I'm probably going to correct myself down here. Exactly. So, the next shelf up right now is... Wait. Trying to find a lot of these original Toy Biz 90s X-Men figures on card. Had Banshee as a kid, but he was broken. So having him mint on package really does kind of make my day. You'll also notice down here, I've got 3 of the first wave of the Mighty Maxes, mostly all complete. There's 1 piece missing from the Snake Pit of Doom, but other than that, I love those things. I don't care if they're a boys version of Polly Pocket. It was the 90s. Everything had to be micro. Everything had to be tiny, tiny, tiny. So, yeah, I love them. So let's scoot over to where I've got Snaptrap, Turtler. Again, call him what you want. If it's on the Japanese side of things, it's going to be Turtler. If it's going to be the American side, it's going to be Snaptrap. Fight amongst yourselves. I don't care. He's great. His head does seem to pop off a lot as it's only on like a pin friction joint. So when moving that head, it does tend to like want to snap off. Haha, Snaptrap. Titan Masters, I only really keep the animals. If you'll notice, there's a theme in that little bit of shelf, other than all the Micro Masters that they re-released in the 2 packs. I don't have any of the exclusives or the Target box set, but it's a nice bit of, I like it. It's a nice bit of nostalgia. I'm going to go a bit of David Attenborough freestyle with this one. A lot of people think that the Headmasters Decepticon wave was just... or Decepticon team, rather, wave, was just these three: Weird Wolf, Skullcruncher, and Mindwipe. But I always include the Horicons. They had their separate commercial, but I always felt that these two, especially in season 3 or 4 of the show, it was 4, had more personality, especially Ape Face. And with the other miniature version of Ape Face we had, we thought that was going to be it. Still waiting for a Fangry. Still waiting for a... We need this as Fangry. You could retool this, it would work. Hasbro, don't say you can't, because you retooled other stuff that is just way worse. And a couple of Slitherfangs, because they're cute little sneaky guys. Well, maybe not so cute. Moving on for the David Attenborough selection, I have, obviously, Rumble, Frenzy. Again, fight amongst yourselves. Transformers is so confusing with who is who is who. Laserbeak is in the Walmart reissue Soundwave, and Sound Blaster, which is the, again, Walmart exclusive. I've cleaned his thing up, but I need some Toy Hack stickers because I've really started to like wipe that logo off. I always preferred the black versions of repaints. It's just they look cooler, crisper, cleaner, and yeah, his legs are how they're supposed to be, cartoon accurate, but I just like the aesthetic of Sound Blaster a bit more. But Rat Trap and Ravage are in the double chest cassette here. Spinister, obviously, because that 90s aesthetic and colors just works, and he's just awesome. You can't go wrong with a helicopter dude. Starscream there, chilling out in the back to the max. And then Target Masters, well, they have their Target Masters. You can just see there. Scourge and Cyclonus. Yeah, I decided to just ditch their regular weapons and give them their Target Masters, just for the fact that that was my favorite VHS growing up as a kid. I think staying over my grandparents over summer, over school, over the 6 weeks holiday we used to get, I think I rented that VHS like 5 times. By the end of that summer, I think my grandparents were sick of hearing the Transformers theme. But yeah, 2 great figures, but you'll notice an absence of a third that kind of needs to complete that trinity, and he has a space, but as if these move along. But Galvatron is definitely going to be fitting in here at some point somewhere. Speaking of fitting in, this shelf here is a perfect fit for the Godzilla-like Triptychon, which does give off Mechagodzilla vibes, but as soon as he was announced, I was like, yeah, I'm spending the money. Definitely spending the money. The stickers were a pain to get on, but I think it adds a little something, you know. He's just got a good look. There's something about big dinosaurs that look like robots that just speak to me. Also, correction, I called Skylinks Jetfire in my top 20 of 2020 video. He's so good though. He cuts a good figure. He's imposing. Like if you get the right angle, boom. Do that again. Boom. Anyway. Yeah, so found Inferno. Kind of happy with him. His arm here is just a little loose. Like the peg doesn't want to stay in, but other than that, like it should sit a little flusher than that, but other than that, he's a good redesign, recolor of Grapple. That's the one. And we're going to get an art fire with the Target Master, so I think I might end up having all 3 of these. Same with, I'm going to end up with like loads of sound waves. I'm going to get that mini sound wave as well, just so he can chill out and be in, what was it? Cassette mode. I am so old, I forgot what cassettes were. Anyway, I got the reissues of Chrome Dome and Brainstorm, because we all forget things and what we need is a brainstorm to remember them. I always preferred the Japanese heads from the Headmaster series. Does anyone remember the VHS where you had the Transformers the movie and then the one episode of the Headmasters? And the Japanese heads just looked so much cooler. Like, the IDW ones had their place, but if they come with this packaging and they've got better heads, you've won me over. I don't care how much of an exclusive it is. I'm there at the door with my money. Then we've got Outback, and obviously Earthrise Optimus Prime. Titans Return, Outback, and there was a story, Better Day to Die or No Day to Die. These two run into the Wreckers and they fight some really weird generic green dude. It was drawn by Jeff Senior, one of the best Transformers artists. He did issue 75 of the American version of the comic, and it was the oversized one where Unicron attacks, and I think, in my personal opinion, that was the best person for the job. So obviously Outback, one of my favorites. Bumblebee, I think this is the best Bumblebee, unless you're gonna fork out the extra bit of money for a masterpiece. Doesn't really matter if it's in scale or not. I used to have the masterpiece one, but got rid of him because I knew this guy was going to come as soon as we saw the Cliff Jumper. Which, Cliff Jumper being first, I quite like him as well. I wasn't going to get him, but just for the balance, color balance, like with Sideswipe and I'm forgetting everything. Sideswipe and Sunstreaker. There you go. You can remember things. It's easy. Obviously Studio Series Jazz, because these two just work together so well. Moonbase Team 1 or 2, but Jazz I had as a Pretender when I was little, and it's the same kind of color scheme. It may be even the same shades of red and blue they've used on both the visor, the front, the headlights, and the chest, but just good. So good. Rotorstorm, obviously in the back, that 90s color scheme, just the mold itself. If I find a good mold, I don't care if I have to buy like 3 of them. Now, I used to be such a mold hog, just 1 per character, but it's just it's 90s. It just screams 90s. And obviously we have Grimlock. As I said a minute ago, there's something about a giant robot dinosaur that just speaks to me on a level that I have no clue how to explain. And obviously Slug, whichever you want to call him, he's going to look just as good next to this guy. And obviously I'm going to need a different place on the shelf or rework this, because, you know, or he's going to go there. And as promised, we're going to have a better look at Lady Deathstrike from the Marvel Villains Wave. This one was a real surprise. I wasn't going to keep hold of her, but I haven't really got any female, which is the only female Marvel legend I've got, but I always liked her as a character. When she was in the cartoon as well, it was just... Oh, and the movie, which don't really do her justice in X2, but she's got no ab crunch, obviously, because of the... Is it Japanese style? I'm going to screw this up. The Japanese style dress, but it's a bit like the Kang figure. It can go in quite well there and not really come out, but even that little bit of range gives her a good... You just pull that back and she really, really leans back. I like how these have been sculpted. It isn't form-fitting, but it has a kind of stared layered effect. Like, you can see with the lines how that works. The electronic or electrodes detailing, and isn't too revealing as well. So I like it. It's a good aesthetic. It's just in the chest alone with the sculpt, but the legs are good. very tight as well, which I kind of want on a smaller, slimmer female figure, because the bulky ones, they can stand a bit more punishment, but these, where they're seeing so slim, you need them to be withstand a little bit more play, because it's not only going to be like 20, 30, 40 somethings that pick up these figures. They're made for kids. They're going to be played with. They're going to be garage sales in like 30 years with hands missing and stuff. So it just stands to reason that Hasbro would really want those joints to be quite stronger on the female characters. Even the fingernails on these, gonna just keep on talking. Even the fingernails on these, silver painted. I think it's a different colored silver than the electrodes, which again go all the way up the arm, which is good. And the sculpt on these, the open, again, I don't know Japanese warrior dress, or even if this is accurate or if it's just a comic book design, but even the sculpt flows really well. So I think it's great, which is a good reason why I kept it. Again, just a bit plainer in the back. They've put all their effort obviously in the front, because you're not going to display your figure butt out first on the shelf. But the only thing is, they could have either given us a different head with like a yelling face and a straight down hair. Is this hair? No, it's part of the headdress. Because she's bald and she's got electrodes under there. I remember now from the comics. It's good for flowy poses, like head down as if there's kind of a wind, but it's good. I just realized something. I actually made a video. I actually was bored and made a conscious effort to do something, and I did it. Wow. And I didn't get really angry at anything. So it's a good day. Turns out there's nothing really that bad to be mad about. Huh. Wonder what else I could look at. You know, I don't think any toys are ever going to annoy me or really upset me. Sure, there'll be minor flaws in a few things. I mean, QC issues always happen, but it's all plain sailing from here.